It is 2026. It sounds so futuristic. It's hard to believe, but here we are. I just want to say we are starting off this year with a bang. I know for the past 2.5 years, I keep starting this conversation with, I hate talking about interest rates, but I have to. I love talking about interest rates this morning because I want to. We've had some really strong momentum. And Optimal Blue is kind of the pricing engine that it's the software that most lenders use to lock in their interest rates and look at rates. And they always publish every day the average of all rates locked in their pricing engine from the day before for their best execution, highest credit scores, best down payments, and all that. And I've been following it, and for the first time since February of 2023, we are below 6%, and the average was 5.99% yesterday. So that to me is a huge milestone because my evidence on why I think that's a big deal is, I've had a lot of people reach out to me over the last 6 months looking for refinances, people that we've done loans for, purchase loans, since rates went up. And we do the refinance. I show them the rates, and almost every conversation ends with, Jeff, why don't you call me when rates get into the fives? So I don't know what it is, but there's some sort of psychological barrier there where I think getting into the fives is kind of a big deal for people. So I don't know how long we'll stay there. Nobody knows. Don't know if they're going to go down anymore. But the big movement really kind of came on last week when the president announced they were going to buy $200 billion worth of mortgage-backed securities. And that's important for interest rates because when mortgage-backed securities are in demand, the price goes up and the yield goes down, and mortgage interest rates follow that yield almost directly. So they announced that, and almost instantly rates dropped by almost a quarter point, which is a huge drop. So we've got a lot of momentum. This morning, the inflation numbers came out. And one of the other things that impacts rates are the Federal Reserve and their rate. And obviously, that's been in the news a lot. And I'm not going to really touch on it too much other than to say that they've been keeping their rate high to try to slow inflation down. So they've all been watching inflation, and everybody expected inflation to come out in today's numbers higher than last month, but in fact, it stayed the exact same. So that was a surprise in the good direction. So we got another little bump this morning on rates. So we got some good tailwinds there on the rate side of things. We'll see where that plays out. Other than that, I just want to very quickly go through and remind everybody of our huge product list here at Assurance Financial. We have just about if it's a residential mortgage, we pretty much have it. We're a correspondent lender, which means we do underwrite and process all of our own loans and fund them here in-house. We have total control of the process, but we also can go out and shop the rates. So we have multiple investors. So if we don't have a product in-house, we're going to go out and find it from another investor, and they just guarantee they'll buy it after we close if we want to sell it. So, of course, we have all the normal conventional FHA, VA, and USDA loans. We've got a great list of jumbo products. So for anybody buying anything over about $830,000, we've got loans for that. We've got multiple investors with a lot of different types of qualifications. We have a down payment assistance program where we will lend them the full down payment. It's a second loan. There's no monthly payments, and it's forgiven after 3 years. We have construction loans. So if you've got anybody that wants to buy land and build a house, or buy a house and renovate, and it doesn't really matter what the renovation is as long as we get a good appraisal, we can loan them money to buy that house and then give them money to do their renovations. So if they have a house that checks every box except a couple, we can check those boxes for them as well. We've got great what we call non-QM loans, or some people call portfolio loans. So you might have a business owner who's been told their tax returns don't show enough income. Well, that's the government-backed programs, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, FHA, VA, USDA, require us to look at the net profit on a person's tax returns for income. We have some investors who know there's still good loans out there, and we'll look at their bank statements and we'll get a more accurate portrayal of the profit and loss of their business and use that. We also have investor loans where it's a DSCR loan. So it's a great time to go out. I know a lot of one-off investors who are out there getting good deals right now. That market has come back kind of strong in a way. With inventory being what it is and demand being where it is, they can go out and get deals. We've got a DSCR loan, which says we don't look at the person's income. All we look at is the potential rent on the property. And if that potential rent is higher than the mortgage payment, then we're good on income. All we got to do is get a 20% down payment and have a decent credit score. So that's a great loan. We do loans on manufactured homes, and we do home equity lines. And then my favorite product to announce and talk about is our bridge loan. You've got that client that they're nervous. They may not even buy because they're so nervous. They're on the fence because they're scared about timing everything up. They want to use the equity. They need the equity in their current home to buy the new home, and they're scared to go through that process of trying to time it up where they find somebody to buy their home and then they find their home, their new home, and they got to have the closing before buying the new home. It's a lot. There's a lot going, especially in this market where you're not 100% sure that just because you put a sign in the ground that your house is going to sell or when it's going to sell. So the bridge loan takes all that pressure off. So we pay off their current loan and then we give them money to use as a down payment on the new purchase loan. So it's a great product that, number one, gives them equity in their house, but this is also pretty good. There's no monthly payment on it. So we get rid of that mortgage payment. So now I don't have to qualify them using two mortgage payments where a lot of people can't. They can't qualify with two mortgage payments. So it's a really great product. And I know it is because almost every time I say it, I get a call, and I've closed a ton of them this year. So that's kind of all we have right now. I will just say this as we go into the new year. If you think of marketing, I'm a big out in the community guy. So I'm very, very involved in the Chamber of Commerce's, including up there in Forsyth County now. I've kind of made some inroads and I'm involved there. Also the North Fulton Chamber, the Alfred Business Association. If you want to get out and get involved, most likely I've probably done it. And I am more than happy to have you as my guest at any of those meetings or any of those places where you can go and just get to know and increase your sphere and let a lot of people know what you do and help find some business. So would love to do that. Honored and blessed to be part of this group. I'm looking forward to a very happy 2026 with it. If there's anything I can do better, let me know. Other than that, I'll turn it back over to you, Neil and Amy. Thank you for having me.
Hey, thank you, Jeff. Want to say again how much we appreciate your partnership. We've I can't think of a single complaint that we've ever had on any deal you've worked on. So we're just super excited that you're still with us and that you always, like every time our renewal comes up, you're ready to go. And I just hope that, agents are reaching out to you and using you as a resource and helping them get their deals closed. I know we have personally used you on a deal. So, and it was for a family member. So, you're really going to pick the best person you can when you're referring to a family member because they're family, right? So thank you, Jeff, for everything you do.
Thank you, guys.
All
I
right.
really appreciate you saying that.
All right. Doug Dean with Schaeferts and Dean.
Hey, Happy New Year. Nice to
Yeah.
see everybody. Uh, Neil, I think you got it ready for me to share. I'm going to share my screen. Just a couple of important things that I wanted to cover with you that I think will help everybody. Um, there you go. You should be able to see my screen now. Everyone can see it. Great. Just on behalf of myself and everybody at Schaeferts and Dean, thank you for everything you guys do. We had a great year working with you guys last year, and we're looking forward to a wonderful 2026 as we kind of build on the relationships that we helped establish last year. The few things that I thought would be good to cover are contracts and updates, instructions to closing attorney, and disbursement authorization. Under contracts and updates, the 2026 GAR contract forms came out January 1st, and it's a GAR licensing violation to use prior year contract forms after January 1st. If you've written a contract before January 1st, everything you've done before then is still good. You don't have to redo anything. Just use the new 2026 forms for any new contracts or forms that you pull after January 1st. We have a 2026 GAR contract forms changes class. We taught it last week and it went really well. It was a lot of fun and a lot of good information. And as they say on the infomercial, it's back by popular demand. We're going to teach it again the first Thursday next month, February 5th. So check your training calendar for the details. Due to room size, we're going to do it both in person and virtually to make sure that we open it up to as many people as possible. I drafted this, or I say Tracy was kind enough to draft my slides for me yesterday. I said, if there's interest, we will try to host another session. And I think that's pretty well set for Thursday, February 5th. So be looking for another session on GAR 2026 contract forms. My favorite of all the GAR forms are the instructions to closing attorney because it answers a lot of questions for me, and it should be one of your favorites too because you get to tell the attorney how you get paid. So just take a minute and review it and make sure everything is properly completed with both agents. Commissions, fees, and what's really helpful is everything other than just 6% split 3 and 3. Are there transaction, admin, coordinator, marketing, FMLS? Are you paying for the home warranty out of your commission? All of that, there's space for that on this form. And it's really helpful when we get the ICAs prepared correctly so that we build the closing statement correctly. Remember that when you send it over, we're going to be looking for both agents to sign the instructions to closing attorney. Additionally, sellers or buyers need to sign if either is paying buyer broker compensation directly. And the question you're saying is, well, why don't they have to sign if the seller is paying either the seller or buyer broker through the co-op fee? And the answer is they've already agreed to that. That's in the brokerage agreement. So they don't also have to sign the ICA. They do have to sign if either seller and or buyer is paying buyer broker compensation directly. So just a contract form reminder on that topic. The last one is when you've done all of this hard work and you've gotten your ICA just right, like it needs to be, take a moment and check your DA. Not with Neil and not with you guys. I will say somewhere else in a land far, far away, we get DAs that don't always match the ICA. And the reason that happens is in their transaction management system, there's a disconnect between how they enter the data. So I get an ICA, an instruction to closing attorney, and we build the closing statement one way, and then I get a DA and the numbers are different. So always take a moment, do your ICAs correctly, and then when the DA is released, or CDA, compensation disbursement authorization, take a moment, review it, and make sure, yes, that matches the instructions to closing attorney, has all of the fees paid by all the proper people. So just look carefully at it, make sure that all the adds and deletes were appropriately listed, and make sure to send us any updated docs to make sure we get the checks right and do it right the first time when we get to closing. One of the things, in addition to CE classes, is we do a monthly Business Builder Speaker Series. It is the third Wednesday every month at 10 a.m. It's virtual on Zoom. It's 1 hour. It's not a CE credit, but it is good information. And next Wednesday, the 21st at 10 a.m., we're going to have Alan Richardson from Maximum One on the South Side. I have seen him do presentations before, and I was always very impressed. This guy takes some time and he pulls a lot of good data and he presents it nicely in organized charts and graphs that convey a lot of information. So when I've seen him present before, and I said I'd like for him to present for us, and he's agreed to be our speaker this month. He's going to talk about looking ahead to 2026 and what the real estate market will likely require of agents. We'll talk about trends, what opportunities are forming, and where to shift mindset, system, expectations based on where we see the market headed in 2026. So we encourage you to, you can email Tracy or go to our website and register to join our business builder. If you have ever participated in any of our business builders, unless you've opted out, you should automatically receive notices of upcoming business builder sessions. And those were the couple of things that I thought would be helpful to review today. But before I turn it back to Neil, I wanted to ask if you've got any burning questions, anything that you really want to know that you think a closing attorney could answer. And I call this session Stump the Professor. So take a moment, stump the professor if you like. Anyone have any burning questions?
I guess not. Well,
If
Doug,
not,
thank you.
just one quick thing. It didn't make it in the slides, but it's worth mentioning. We are very well set up in housekeeping in the Thrive and Cumming, and we're getting our feet wet with the Thrive in Gainesville. We don't have a physical office there like we do in Cumming, at least not yet, but we're getting set with using their facilities to print and scan and so forth. And we've actually done our first closing at the Thrive in Gainesville last Friday. So we are expanding our reach to make sure that that's our home away from home with Thrive Gainesville, and we are set up in housekeeping and Thrive Cumming. And we are also looking at expanding our reach. We've done some closings with the Thrive in a couple of the Canton locations for some Cherokee County closings that we've had. So one of the things I've tasked my wife, Tammy Dean, who works for me at the firm, is really making sure we know how to use their resources. So when we do a closing at any Thrive, even if we don't have a physical office, we can make it smooth, seamless, and provide additional convenient locations for closings. Thank you, Neil.
Hey, that's good, Doug. I actually was going to touch on that, so I'm glad you went ahead and brought it up. For example, we did move out of that space in Gainesville, but like one of our Gainesville agents, just the same agent, has 4 closings this month with Schaeferts and Dean, which will all be at that Thrive location. So, but with that said, I just want to bring up, because most agents don't realize the behind the scenes stuff. They don't see the numbers that I see. And here's an example. We added last year, we added some services so that when you close with Schaeferts and Dean, it makes our life easier at the office. So the office picks up some tasks that you have to do if you don't close with them, and we do it for you. And we have had so many people talk about how much they appreciate leaving the closing and being done and not having to upload anything, not dropping off checks, not doing any of these things, getting additional social media stuff posted for them. I mean, the list is in Paperless Pipeline if you want to see all the benefits. But the evidence that people appreciate it, Doug, I noticed, is our active agent count has pretty much been steady from last year to this year. We may even have a few less than we had the year before. However, you guys closed 54 transactions in 2024. And since we've added the benefits, you closed 78 this past year. That's a pretty good chunk. That's like almost a 50% increase year over year. So we appreciate what you do. You're obviously doing things right, because you're getting repeats. Those that use you repeat and use you again. So So we're very thankful for that. And that's um, all I have on Schaeferts and Dean.
Thank you,
All
guys.
right.
And
Doug, you have a question in the chat. If you could answer Nympha's question when you get a moment, and we'll go ahead and move on to Kyle Peace. And Jeff answered Linda's question already in the chat. So those of you who need like co-branded flyers with your headshot and also Assurance Financial Jeff's headshot, he get in touch with him and he can make sure to get you that.
All right. And if Doug, you'll stop your share.
well, I'm so sorry. I'll do that.
That's
right
okay.
now.
I'm just
Kyle,
Stop
if you'll
share. Back to
unmute
you.
yourself, Kyle, we'll get you ready to present. Click to ask unmute.
move on to the lady from.
Okay, as we're waiting on Kyle, let's just go ahead and move on to Jennifer with Georgia Pine Home Inspections. Jennifer, if you want to unmute yourself. Good morning.
Good morning. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay, sometimes I have some issues with it, but I hope everybody had a wonderful holiday. Home inspections did not rest. We even did one on New Year's Day. So we have continued to roll with the punches with everybody, hoping that we have been able to satisfy everybody's needs as usual. But we just, for those who don't know us, I do see some familiar names, but I do see some that I don't know. So to do a quick introduction, we like to focus on inspections that are extremely thorough without being what I call deal derailing. So it's a very it's a balance. Steve and Chris are extremely thorough in their inspections. They're going to find what's there. However, we like to explain things clearly and communicate quickly and support both the agents and the buyers throughout the process. And our goal is really to be, an extension of your team. So we are here to work with you. On that same aspect, we like to do detailed walkthroughs with the buyers. This just helps us to avoid any surprises. We like to walk through the home. Sometimes things on paper can be a little bit more alarming than when we can actually walk through with them and explain it. So that is something that we definitely encourage. We try to get, scheduling done quickly. You have different options for that. You can either schedule online. I always encourage you to call or text me if you don't see a time or a date within your due diligence that you're looking for, because I can do my thing. I can move things around and I can wave my wand and we'll get it done for you. So make sure, if you do like to do that online and you're not seeing what you need, make sure you just reach out to me. I'm so happy to, work with you to get it done. On that note, we also do offer a 200% guarantee, which means if you guys are unhappy for any reason, which, knock on wood, we've yet to happen, but anybody unhappy, we would be refunding the fee for the inspection as well as paying for another one. So that's how we stand behind our work and our communication and the whole process. We do offer several additional services such as pool and spa, sewer camera, termite, radon, and mold. We do free thermal imaging with every inspection, so that is included. That's not anything additional cost. Our reports are same day. They're very easily read. They're color coded, and we're always available to explain to the buyer any questions that they have or walk them through that process. So we do comprehensive roof inspections. So we are actually getting on the roofs. 90% of the roofs, we're getting on them. We're walking them. If for any reason we're not able to, we do have a drone that can get up there and get some detailed pictures. So yeah, we're, the communication, you can either text me Monday through Friday. You're going to get me 9 to 5. After 5, you'll get Steve, and on the weekends, you'll get Steve Hanley, the owner. So, we're both seeing all the texts and communication that goes through, so nothing, goes unseen or falls through the cracks. You're welcome to call me if you want to go ahead and get that scheduled as well. So lots of different options there. We do offer some discounts. We have a new construction discount, military, fire, and police. They all get 10% off. So just let me know ahead of time. We do not ask what their job is, where they're employed. So be sure, if you know that you've got somebody who is a military or a veteran or fire or police, be sure to let us know so that we can apply that discount. That being said, we do not double up on discounts. So if they're getting a new construction discount or anything like that, 10 wouldn't become 20. It's just a one-time discount. So yes, if anybody has any questions for me, I'd be happy to answer. We do cover a large area, a very large area. So if there's ever any question about where your client's home is located, feel free to shoot me a text. I'd be happy to let you know if we cover that area. I believe that is all I have. Like I said, if you guys have any questions, feel free to put that in the chat. I'll hang on here for a little while before I jump off. And always feel free to shoot me a text.
Jennifer, will you put your contact information in the chat box so those who are
Absolutely.
new with us know how to contact you quickly if they need to get an inspection scheduled?
Absolutely. I'll do that right now.
Thank you so much. And that is it for our Alliance partners. Thank you guys for being here. Kyle Peace with Peace Financial wasn't able to make the sales meeting today, but that's okay. His information will be in the Sunday newsletter that will be coming out this Sunday if you need to look at it. We're going to go ahead and move on. Neil, if you can go ahead and go to the next slide.
All right. So license law, one of before I say that, I did want to say that our alliance partners are going to be on here. I know sometimes when you're put on the spot, you don't remember a question you maybe had, or you may think of a question. Put those in the chat so we can get the answers for you. So moving on, license law. A week from today, from 10 to 1, I will be teaching license law.
We are deciding between the Dawsonville office or the Cumming office right now. So we will let you know the location. You can attend either in person or on Zoom. Email mathesonreteam@gmail.com to let me know which one you prefer, either in person or via Zoom. So far, I have a long list of people who have asked about this class. So I've got you written down. If you've emailed me already, I have you on the list. So don't worry. We will send out the Zoom link the morning of the class, because a lot of people accidentally delete the email or they can't find it and they're panicking last minute. So we do it fresh the morning of, so it's at the top of your email. So again, if you need that class and you want to be added to the list, just email us, please.
On the calendar.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So Amy had spoke earlier. A lot of you weren't on yet, but she had spoke earlier about the surveys that we send out every year. At the end of the year, we send out surveys to all of you, and we read those. We do take time. We go through them because we are always looking for ways to get better and for ideas. So one of the ideas that had came up was our YouTube channel. We've had a YouTube channel for a long time. However, the hardest probably hurdle we've had in business, other than hiring branch managers, the second hardest is really communicating with all the agents, like getting all of you the information so that we're all on the same page. For instance, right now, this sales meeting we're doing, there's probably going to be about 5% of our total agent count that will get all the information from this. We know that because when we send out the video, we get analytics that show how many opened it, how many watched it, those that watched it, how much did they watch. So that's not always the best way to get people the information. So we've had this YouTube channel, but what we'll need is for everyone to go to the channel. We'll be sending out the link so you can go and subscribe. But we're going to start adding our sales meetings to this, how-to videos, business training videos. You see the list here of things and there's a link tree in there. So for instance, I put the link to it in here. It'll take you to our YouTube channel, and the link tree is right here's the link to it. So once you're on our channel, when you click there, there's a lot of links to different places that you can get to. My calendar to meet with a broker, Merge website, Premier Web, all these different sites, and our training calendar. So anyway, but we would need you to go there and subscribe, but you'll be able to find a lot of stuff there because we're trying to get things where it's easy for people to get to and find. So just keep that in mind. Be on the lookout for an email with that information. Okay, an increase in closings. Now this had to bite my tongue when Jeff spoke because he was talking about how things are picking up. And I looked at our numbers from December of this year compared to December last year. And we had a 20.69% increase in the number of transactions and a 62.95% increase in volume. So that means way more commissions coming in, right? And then so far in January, based on what's in the pipeline, when I look in paperless pipeline at the closings that's supposed to happen this month, we're looking at a 69% increase over last January as far as number of transactions and 60.9% increase in volume, which is still a huge increase in volume. So what does that tell us about the market? Well, obviously, people have got over the thought that interest rates are going to drop back into the 4s and the 3s, and they've decided if I want a home, I've got to go ahead and buy one. So I believe now is the time to really act and get out there and help people find homes. I know there's more volume out there to buy now, which is helping buyers. Still not an overflow of homes, but they're definitely out there. Doug spoke about Gainesville and having our closings. It's on the square in Gainesville. It's at the intersection of Washington Street and Main Street. But that's where we're currently doing closings. Please allow yourself time to park and walk because you can't, you see there's some parking right in the front. That's probably not going to always be available. So you may have to use the parking behind and walk to get in. So just plan the time for that. January birthdays.
Happy birthday to these January agents that were born. So we hope you have a great, wonderful month. If we missed anybody, let us know and we'll get you added.
All right. And 2026, it is time to bring on agents. I know I've spoke to several people that are going to be bringing on agents. And remember, those agents that you bring on and you personally sponsor will be a part of the R25 program where you get $25 every time they close a deal.
All right, now is the time for our agents to unmute themselves and share any new listings or any needs that you might have. Remember, we also have a private Facebook group that you can share those in as well. So let's say you have a client reaching out to you while you're on vacation and they want to see a home and you're not available, reach out in our private Facebook group and see if there's, one of our agents available who's willing to do that for you. But if you have anything, go ahead and unmute yourself. And if not, we will move on to the next slide. Give you a few minutes, few seconds. 3, 2, 1. Next slide.
All right.
All right, we're moving on to our top producers. These numbers were taken from the last month of December of 2025. So I'll let Neil read who they are.
All right. Out of our Dawsonville office, Jeff Curvis was in first, Matthew Walker second, and Caleb Bell third. And our top team was BG Elite Realty. Top producers in Catalyst. This is our non-realtor firm. Clay Zimmerman was first, Peter Ye second, and Nympha Jennings third. Top producers in Gainesville. Josue was first, Billy second, and Karen third. Top units sold was Josue in our Gainesville office. The top team out of our Gainesville office was Owens Real Estate. Top producers incoming. We had a tie for first with Anna Lee and Kalpana. Second place was Todd Smith, and third, Jessica Allred. Top units sold was Yexica Cauldron. Funny thing, she did that and was out of the country most of the time. So congratulations, Yexica.
Good multitasking.
Yes. Top team producers, the Coleman Group. And here's our top 10 across the entire company. So congratulations, all of you, on a job well done. All right. Now this. Awesome. So that's it for us. We hope you got some information from our alliance partners and from us that's going to help us in communication and working our businesses, working together. We look forward to what 2026 holds. I'm expecting an outstanding year with listings and sales and everything. So please reach out to us if you want to sit and talk and discuss how we can make your year better, what we can do as a company to help coach you, help move you along in your business, sharing ideas, brainstorming. Just know we're always available to help you. We don't know the need unless you reach out. So please use us as a resource to help you in your business.
And just a reminder, if you've not done the end of year survey, it's in the chat box. It's the very first thing in that chat box. Also, our YouTube channel, the Coming Branch Manager, put it in the chat box as well. Doug Dean put a link in the chat box for any of the handouts for the GAR 2026 changes. And don't forget, we're also going to be having that class. Check our calendar at the end of the day. We're going to have that class scheduled for February. We're going to have it on the calendar by the end of the day. And let me make sure we are good. Linda DeForest asked about any fair housing courses. So unfortunately, our school, the Maximum One school, is called Real Estate Academy of America. Real Estate Academy of America has not been approved to teach fair housing, and they're really not approving any of the schools out there except for the boards. They are letting the boards teach it. So my understanding is if you need fair housing, you need to reach out to your local board. Even if you're not a member of that board, reach out to a board in your area and see when they're offering it and see if they're offering it via Zoom or in person, and you have to take it that way. If the Real Estate Academy of America gets approved anytime soon, I will definitely send that out as a blast so our agents can register for it first before I open it up to the public.
And I want to say this. I
you.
see some people on here that's in our non-realtor group. That course is not a requirement for those of you in the non-realtor group. Neither is ethics course. So don't feel pressured, because if you think, well, I'm not a member of the board, I can't take the class. Well, if you're in our non-realtor group, it's not a requirement for you to take it to begin with.
And Linda, you were saying something. Can you repeat what you were asking?
No, I was just saying thank you, because that's
you're
the only course I have to get, I'm required to get for the board, for the realtor.
Good for you. Thank you for not waiting last minute.
All
All
right.
right, I think we're done. We're going to go ahead and stop the recording. We will send this all out by the end of the day, all the top producers, the recording from this sales meeting in case you need to look back on it for anything. Thank you guys for joining us. Yes, we'll upload it to the YouTube channel. Let's see, we had one more question come up here. So non-realtor is still an option. Logan, I'm not sure if I understand your question, but I think what you're asking is that a firm of ours? Yes, we have a few firms. We have the realtor firm, which you have to be a board member of. We have our catalyst firm, which is you don't have to be a board member, but you do still have to purchase the GAR forms. And you have, when you do write a contract, it has to be on the GAR form. So that's an option as well. And then we also have another option. It's our holding company, and a lot of our people who've moved out of state but still want to have their Georgia license, that's the firm they join. I hope that's answering your question. If not, unmute yourself and you can ask it, and maybe I'll understand it a little bit better. Let's see. Let me see what other questions I have here really quick. Your license law. So Vicki, you took license law in 2023. I'll have to look, I'll look you up on GREC, Vicki, and I'll see exactly if that is the date you took it and look at the requirement. And I'll get back to you on that.
It just depends on when you renew too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Happy New Year to you too, Nympha.
Thank you.
Okay, Vicki said she renewed in 2025, so that was last year.
You can pause this.
Yeah, you can stop the recording and pause it.